Some people need the weather to be all right to be happy. But there are others who carry the weather with them. In other words, it doesn't matter. Every day is a Friday. How to develop that attitude? What is it that enables some people to master their emotions and always be happy? One husband and wife, they went to India. And when you go to India, you have to meet 500 relatives. So they are all of different kinds, munde, matir, bhinna. Some of them are very sour in nature. This wife was keeping on complaining to her husband about her nanad, the husband's fourth cousin sister. Today she said this to me. Today I smiled at her and she did not smile at me. And so on and so forth. Finally, the husband said, "My dear wife, I agree she is not behaving well. You are very right. She should behave better. However, her behavior is not in my hands. And there is nothing that I can do about it. If you want peace of mind, you will have to learn to tolerate that behavior." So what he's saying is that the externals are not in our hands. What do you need to be happy? Do you need a big bungalow? Or do you need a Cadillac? Or do you need 7 zeros in your bank balance? What is it that will make you happy? And supposing you have all that, is there a guarantee that you will be happy? Actually not. It is all a matter of your attitude. These attitudes are so important. They can make heaven out of hell and hell out of heaven. There were 2 patients in the ICU of a hospital. Both were critically ill and bedridden. Since they had been there for a few days, they used to speak to each other and had established a deep bond. They had exchanged stories of their childhood, their youth and their early marriage and their children and everything under the sun. The first patient's bed was close to the only window of that room. For 1 hour he would be made to sit up, and at that time he would look out of the window and describe the wonderful scene that he saw. There was a garden just below. It had a fountain in the center with a pool around. On the ledge of the pool, little children would come and sit and chit-chat, and old ladies would bask on the benches in the sun, and sometimes ducks would be seen waddling along in a line, and sometimes the geese would also land there. Occasionally he would describe how a procession had come and they had roses in the band along with them. Now when he would describe that, the second patient would become enlivened. It was in such sharp contrast to the dreary hospital environment with its smell of medicines and phenyl and its vision of syringes and bottles and tubes, etc. He used to wait for the 1 hour when his friend would sit up and describe what he saw. However, one day, an evil thought entered his mind. Why does this guy get to have all the fun and not me? Why is God unfair to me in this manner? He did not have to think like that, but he did. And even if he did, he could have rejected the thought and not harbored it. But he did harbor it until it started festering within and created a wound and filled him with negativity for his friend, until he started hating the sight of his friend. One night, the first patient started coughing. It was a different kind of cough, as if he was suffocating. Now, the obvious thing would have been to press the emergency bell. However, either he was in too much of discomfort or he did not think of it. So he kept gasping and suffocating. The second best thing would have been for his friend to press the emergency bell. But the friend was thinking, this guy is suffering, very good, he deserves it. That first patient coughed a little more, and then all was silent. Next morning, the medical attendants came. They saw the dead body, and without a fuss, they removed it. This second patient allowed a few days to go by to avoid any suspicion. And then he made a request. Can my bed be moved by the window side? They said, yes, it's empty. They moved him. He said, I am now well enough. Can I be made to sit for an hour? They said, that's a fair enough request. They helped him sit down, and after 2 weeks, he was looking out to the external world through the window. And what did he see? The second wing of the hospital. He said, what is this? They said, the way the hospital is designed to make best use of the space, it's got many wings with a little bit of gap. So when you look out, what you see is the other wing. He said, but what is it that my friend was seeing? They said that was the beauty of his own mind. That was what he chose to see. The world is the same for all of us. What is it that you want to see? The saints in this very world saw God. Jit dekhu tit shamamayi hai. Now we are not in that state, but at least we can see goodness to cheer up our own thoughts. As the saying goes in English, 2 men looked out of the prison bars. One saw the mud, oh, one saw the stars, wow. They were both in the prison. They both were looking out of the bars. The world was the same. But what they were seeing was a choice that they were making. So the attitudes that you choose, this freedom to choose is up to you.